the prep training split. What is going on? I'm going to take you through everything I'm doing activity-wise on prep. Right now, I am currently just under 14 weeks out from show number 1, my first ever bodybuilding season, my first ever time prepping for the stage. So this is everything that I am doing in terms of resistance training, cardio, steps, activity as a whole across the board. And we're going to get stuck into it straight away. This is set up for me and set up for me only. Now, a lot of this will work for you to try and implement it, whether that's some of the training, what I do in terms of cardio, steps, etc., etc. This will just give you a rundown of what I'm currently doing 14 weeks out in terms of training and how things progress as the weeks go along every single week. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Also in the description is my coaching inquiry form. If you are interested in working with me to get towards your goals over the next couple of months, over the next couple of years, do fill in that. We will have a chat and we'll get working on your goals straight away. So we're going to get stuck into it straight away. Drop the video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are putting in the work with these daily videos. If you haven't, go back, check out, some of the full days of eating, some of the vlogs that we're doing on a daily basis to get a real insight of what this prep is looking like. I want to break down today everything that I'm doing activity-wise. So we're not talking about the food. We're not talking about anything but activity to get as shredded as we possibly can for the first show. And the first show is all we're thinking about right now. So we're currently 14 weeks out. My training split, importantly, has not changed pretty much across the board since we came from the gaining phase into prep. I'm currently about 10 weeks into my prep. Not a single thing has changed, bar 1 or 2 changes of exercises. I am also training out of a new facility now as well for a few of my sessions during the week. So things have just been moved around slightly. I'm on a couple of different machines and everything, but for the most part, everything has stayed the exact same. And that is a big thing for you, whether it's a prep you're going into, whether it's just a diet you're going into, everything should stay the same. Training should not change. Our main focus with training is just to continue to progress it every single week and beat that logbook. Continue lifting more weight, continue doing more reps. Progressive overload is what's going to build the muscle. Progressive overload in a diet is what's going to keep the muscle, if not build a little bit of muscle at the same time. So I train 5 days a week. My split is across set days, so I know every single day what I'm training or if I'm not training. So Mondays we do push. Tuesdays we do density, which is a mix of back and legs. Wednesdays we rest. Thursdays we're back in for another push day, so a second push session of the week. Friday is leg day, and then Saturday is a full upper body session. So as you see there, we're hitting everything pretty much twice a week minimum. Chest is getting 2 full sessions, alongside delts and arms inside there as well. In there as well, we have a main leg day. We also have a day where it's mainly posterior. So again, legs are getting hit, but it's just from the hamstrings, from the glutes on the posterior day. And then back is also getting hit twice a week. My arms, my shoulders, they're getting hit a lot every single week, which I'm about to run you through now as well. I think we can get away with more than we think we can get away with a lot of the time. I have been getting away throughout the gaining phase and into the prep a lot more than what I probably thought before. And it's what's allowed me to make a lot more progress, more progress in the last, say, 8 months, 10 months than I've made in all my time bodybuilding, okay? And that is just taking things further than you might think you're able to, as long as you can recover from them. So we're in the gym, we're trying to get away with as much as we can recover from. If you're not recovering properly, you're going to slow your progress down. If you're recovering just at the right time to go in and do another session, you're on a sweet spot. So we have 5 training sessions, we have 2 rest days across the week, and that is a perfect setup for me as of right now. As prep goes along, as I get leaner, as energy gets a little bit lower, yeah, the training will become a little bit more of a struggle, but in order to keep that size that's there right now, training needs to stay as hard as it possibly can. And right up until this point, and I'm going to continue doing it every single week in certain sessions, on certain exercises, I've been continuing to take progressions, which is just another little tick. The setup that we have currently is perfect. If it is a case that you find yourself going backwards and regressing especially this far out from the end point of your diet, you might notice that you've too much volume. Okay, you're doing too many sets, you're doing too many reps inside the gym, you might be doing too many exercises. So just take note of that. If progressions aren't being made, unless you're at the very end of a diet, or a couple of weeks away from the end of a diet, and body fat levels are super, super low, you've lost a little bit of strength, numbers should still be progressing. So that's one thing to take note of. So volume is split across all body parts, relatively equally in terms of how many sets we're doing per week. Make sure when you're setting up your trainer plan that you're looking at how many sets per body part are being done. So you don't set up the training plan and you're doing 20 sets of chest and only 10 sets of back and 5 sets of legs. That kind of way. Just make sure you're setting it up as evenly as possible. I'm young, I'm very new to the sport still, even though I've been doing it for a while. My training age is still very young. There's no real specific body parts that are like lagging or like really weak body parts that I need to bring up. Realistically, I need to grow everywhere. Now, my back, we would say, is probably the strongest body part that I do have. So we can look more so at putting a lot more volume on my chest. I can put a little bit more volume on my legs, being another part that is a little bit slower to come up. Obviously, I am competing in bodybuilding, so the legs will be out, the legs will be on show. We can't let the legs fade away. Okay, so that's the main thing in terms of the volume over those 3 big hitters. Where I before went wrong and thought that I couldn't grow them was with my delts, was with my arms. My delts get hit 4 times a week. I train 5 times, my delts get hit 4 out of the 5 sessions. And I know you might look at that and think, how do you do so much, delts? Because they're a smaller muscle group, they can recover so much quicker. It's the exact same with the arms. The arms are getting hit 4 sessions out of the week. They can recover from so much. You can absolutely batter them. And it's the most growth I've seen through the delt, through the arms, in the last 6 to 8 months, from just abusing them every single week, and it works. Okay, and it's the one thing I'm most excited for, is having good structured training at the back end of this prep, coming out into the reverse, into the gaining phase, knowing this is what needs to be done and this is how we're going to grow. So again, each to their own. Every person is going to be individual with what way they set up their training. For me, I just like to have and be in the know of like, this is what I'm training on this day, this is what I'm training on that day. Depending on your setup, you might be able to do that as well, depending on your work, your life situations, whatever the case may be. Some people just do 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. So the rotation does change a small little bit. I just have my set 7-day week with my 5 training days put in there, and it's what works best for us right now at the moment. I do like my rest days. Obviously one during the middle of the week, so that's on the Wednesday. And I love my rest day on a Sunday now as well, just to finish the week off, not batter myself into the ground, and just get ready to go back into a new training week on Monday. So today is actually that day. Today is my second rest day of the week, and we're just about to start a new week of training. That's how the training is set up. So I'm not going to run through exercises that I'm doing, the amount of sets that I'm doing, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Find what you enjoy first and foremost. I absolutely love every single session that I do. My favorite session is probably that upper session, the final session of the week on a Saturday, going in, getting a beautiful pump because it's full upper body. Just being able to look at the pump, especially as I'm starting to get that little bit leaner, and just feel pumped everywhere. Go away, rest day tomorrow. I've just done legs the day before, which is, a naughty session to try and get through and takes a little bit more out of you. Upper, really enjoy it. Rest day Sunday then, which is today. So with that, as I said, enjoyment level needs to be as high as possible. A training plan and a split you're able to sustain, all right? One that you're able to stick to on a weekly basis so we can progress it, okay? There's no point in setting yourself a goal of going to the gym 5 days a week if realistically you're only going to end up getting there 3 times a week, 4 times a week. If you're new and you're very new to training, I recommend starting off as low as you kind of need to, okay? I know you might think the more times I go to the gym, the more muscle I'm going to build. And yes, to a degree, but you have to think the gym is not where you're building the muscle. Me sitting here on a rest day, on the chair, me sleeping tonight, me sitting on the couch is where the muscle is going to be built, okay? The more of that we can do, the more recovery that we can get in, especially at the start of our training, very early on, is the better. The more muscle we're going to build. All right, you're going to be fresh going into all your sessions. You're going to get freaky strong. You're going to have loads of time to recover. it's perfect. Okay, so start off nice and slow if that's 3 training days. Then bump it up to 4. Okay, spend some time there, having 3 rest days. Bump it up to 5 if needs be, and have your 2 rest days as time goes along. Yeah, the body, you know, as time goes along, is going to be able to do more and more and more, but get the most out of what you can at the very start of your training and make as much time as you possibly can to recover. And notice yourself, you will grow very, very efficiently. Not that you're doing too little, but you're recovering a lot. Okay, so that's the training plan. As always, go back to the channel. We've already in depth with Don, my videographer, gone through a couple of the sessions. We're going to be going through the next session very, very soon. So it gives you a good idea of what exercises I actually do, you know, how many sets, my thought processes behind all the exercises and the training sessions that I do. We'd be here for hours if I was to chat you through each and every individual exercise that I use right now. I do have a couple of intensifiers, you could say, in there as well. At the moment, 14 weeks out, we'll see as time goes along if recovery allows for that. Main thing as we're prepping is recovery is in a good spot. Fatigue management is in a really good spot. But right now, it's nothing I really need to worry about. I just need to worry about continuing to train as I am, building muscle. All right. In my thought process right now, I'm still growing. And that's why I'm going into the gym and I'm taking numbers on different exercises, different sessions every single week. Because in my head, I still have plenty of food that's going in. Realistically, I can still be growing muscle over the next couple of weeks, I would like to think. That's at least what I'm going to be thinking in my head anyway. So on to our other activity every single day through steps and through cardio. Now, if you didn't already notice, I do recommend keeping your cardio, keeping your steps as 2 separate tools, okay? I don't really consider steps as cardio, right? Steps are very low impact. Steps are neat. They're non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's just the daily activity that we do, me moving around the house, me walking around, me walking the dog. They're a really, really good way to burn calories, and people underestimate the amount of calories that they burn. I am currently doing 16,000 steps every single day on prep, and it burns a lot of calories. You know, comparison to me doing the 10,000, I wouldn't be getting that much out of it, you know, and it's 16,000, which is a lot, to be fair, but does it take a huge amount of energy from me? No. Okay, steps are very low impact, they're very low energy demanding as of right now anyway, and they're just a very easy way to get calories in. Steps also are super for digestion. Okay, after every meal, as much as I can, I like to go for 5 to 10 minutes of a walk, whether that's outside with the dog, whether that's on the walking pad, to allow me digest that food quicker. It is the best form of speeding up digestion, in my opinion. If you are not in a diet and your digestion, or if you're not in a diet and you're in a gaining phase, you know, and your appetite is that little bit lower, steps are also a really good way to make sure that appetite is firing. You know, there's nothing worse than eating a meal, sitting here for another 3 hours, just letting that sit there, throwing another meal down on top of it, again going in 3 hours time, throwing another meal down on top of it. You're not going to utilize that food as good as you could. Whereas you eat the food, you go for a few steps, that digestion process is started, you know, and it's on its way. You know, you're going to make use of that food a lot better. All right, you're going to make progress a little bit quicker. Okay. Cardio, on the other hand, is work. Like, cardio is direct work. I am currently doing 285 minutes across the week. All right, it's spread across 7 days, so cardio is every single day, no days off. I'm doing 5 45-minute sessions, okay, and 2 30-minute sessions. The 2 30-minute sessions are on the days right now that I touch legs. So on my density day, which is legs and back, and then on my proper leg day on Friday, just to protect the legs a small little bit and manage fatigue as best as we possibly can. I know that is going to come to an end, you know, where cardio on leg days is obviously going to continue to get higher because needs be. But right now, we can utilize the other 5 days to do 45 minutes, which is a little bit higher, and then 30 minutes on leg days. So that has been progressing ever since the start of prep. Every couple of weeks, my cardio has been bumping up and up and up. And that is something that you're going to have to do if fat loss is the goal, continuing to drive that cardio up, because your body's going to get used to it and you need to make that deficit that little bit bigger. Okay, so they're everything that I'm doing on a daily basis in terms of my training, my cardio, my steps. There is a lot there. Okay, it does take up time. But just make sure, if you want to be able to get these things done, and especially as things increase, you know, the more steps that I do, they take more time. The more cardio that I have to do, it takes more time. Get your routine in order, Make sure your time management is in a really good spot. Have a schedule there every single day, knowing what you're going to do. And my top tips in terms of cardio, in terms of steps, but cardio first and foremost, is if you have the ability to, get it out of the way early in the morning, okay? A hard box like that, ticking that off early in the day, you will thank yourself, okay? In my head, if I have to be thinking about cardio now this evening or later on tonight, I'm like, oh, it's in the back of my head all day long, and I'm like, I have to do cardio, I have to do cardio. And I'm going to be tired. Am I going to be able to give the correct amount of energy, you know, and the correct amount of effort to that session as I possibly could? Probably not. Same goes for steps. The last thing you want to be doing is getting to 10 o'clock at night and having 5,000 steps to do. Keep on top of it during the day. Get as much out of the way as you can early in the morning. You're going to be in a better mood from it. You're going to be able to give more effort to it. You're going to have more energy to be able to do that. And it's going to take stress off your back for later on in the day when you would like to probably just be chilling out. With cardio, we work off a heart rate goal, okay? So my heart rate gets up to the point that I'm working off. When you're looking at this, again, it's person dependent. You could be looking anywhere between 130 beats per minute to 150, 160 beats per minute. For me right now, as I am that bit fatter, it gets up to 160 beats per minute and I'm able to sustain that. Hopefully I'll be able to sustain that throughout the entirety of prep. It will become harder, and that is why cardio has to get harder, you know, and more energy has to be given towards it, because as you get fitter, your heart rate is going to be harder to get up to that maximum level. So getting to that cardio becomes harder, and being able to sustain it becomes harder. But that's how we know we're able to keep it consistent across the board. If you're just going on your cardio equipment and you're just doing the time that's assigned to you, as the weeks go along, as your energy gets a little bit lower, as you get leaner, the amount of cardio that you're doing, the amount of effort you're giving to it, the amount of calories you're burning within that time frame is going to get lower, and you're not going to get as much bang for your buck from that cardio session. So that's one thing to note there as well. And that pretty much wraps it up. That's everything I'm doing 14 weeks out from show number 1. As things change, you'll be updated, of course, in the daily videos, as you already know. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope this might have helped some of you with setting up everything that you might be doing. I'm 10 weeks in, so this is where I'm at after 10 weeks of doing what I need to do. If you're just starting out and you have plenty of time, do not start where I am at right now in terms of your expenditure. Give yourself a little bit of time. Give yourself that runway to be able to progress things as you go along, and as the body starts to plateau, you have tools there to be able to use, adding in more cardio, adding in more steps. Same goes for our food, which we'll talk about obviously in the next couple of videos. That's all for today. Drop the video a like, comment down below if this helped, or if there's anything you'd like to see along the lines of it. Subscribe if you haven't already.